What is up, people of the world? The Dragon Ball Multi-Beta came out recently and I actually managed to get access to it. So I figured, you know what? Maybe I'll make a video about this. Now from a first glance what I've seen of this game prior to playing it, didn't really look at anything too special. Like, okay, I've played Pokemon Unite before, which is like the closest thing to this. But besides that, I have no experience in MOBAs, and this kind of looked like another random mobile game, so I was just gonna pass. But then I saw a whole bunch of videos popping up about it, and it looked really good, and also it was on Steam. So I figured, might as well see if I get access to the beta. And then later that day I did. So it all came together. The first thing that grabbed my immediate attention while booting up the game was the graphics and presentation. Dear God, this might be one of the best looking Dragon Ball games, period. All the character models are top notch and are extremely faithful to the source material. And the little animations they have in and out of battle are just so good. What's Krillin doing on his phone? Who's he talking to? Aw, now he's sad. It's okay, buddy, we'll get you some KFC after this. But yeah, man, between all the particle effects and super attacks and whatnot, just looks absolutely stunning. Sometimes when you're killing an enemy, you can just randomly do a finisher just cuz. It looks so good. And while I wouldn't say the interface is amazing, like, it's your standard, like, mobile game interface. You got all the buttons to go to the shop, the hero upgrades, the library, whatever. It's all serviceable enough. I'll tell you, it's way better than Pokemon Unites, though. At least it actually loads fast! But as far as gameplay goes, I'm not gonna lie, for the first 2 or 3 matches, I had no idea what was going on. Like, I could rely on my past Pokemon Unite experience to help guide me through how the game's supposed to go. But even then, there's just so much pop-ups and special effects and characters moving around going on. It was just so much to keep track of. The tutorial can only help so much. However, after a couple matches, I kind of understood what was going on, and it wasn't really much of an issue. This is currently the beta, so there's not a whole lot of content yet, so right now there's only one main mode, which is just trying to reach the other side and get the Dragon Ball, all the while defeating their gods of destruction to clear out the path. Each team consists of 4 players, who all have a specific role, and have 3 skills and 1 ultimate. Throughout the match, you can level up by beating either random NPCs or other players, and even power up some of the skills you have. I will say, before heading into a match, I highly recommend going into the character selection screen and looking at each character's abilities, because figuring out what they do with the fly would probably be pretty hard. Although speaking of the character select screen, they're really good at teaching you how to play the game. From telling you how complex the character is, what skills they do, what they look like, all presented in a very user-friendly method. Again, even outside of battle, the presentation is just outstanding in this game. I'm shocked. And combat is fun. It's very satisfying leveling up throughout the match and defeating enemies, even though most of the time those enemies happen to be bots. At least that's what I'm fighting a lot of the time in the low ranks. I know Pokemon Unite does this too, but honestly, I'm just not a fan of fighting against bots most of the time. It just gives me a very false perception of how actual matches are supposed to go. And as far as gameplay is concerned, the one thing that's most different in Pokemon Unite from what I remember is how the zones are treated. In this game, each zone is guarded by a god of destruction who is pretty much invincible most of the time. The only time it's safe to attack him is when Zeno is there. And Zeno, from what I've seen, just kind of randomly decides to go either top or bottom throughout the match. I'm not really sure if I'm a big fan of this whole concept because, like, a lot of the time you're just ending up waiting to do anything while Zeno just takes his sweet time going to the goal. This makes it feel like I'm just kind of endlessly beating up the other team players, waiting for Zeno so we can actually do something. Like, yeah, there are like the Android 16s and Ribriannes that spawn throughout the map to get some progress done, but still. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but I have yet to see a bot pick up the Dragon Ball. Like, they'll break the shell, they just won't grab the ball. Maybe I just clicked the button too fast for them to handle, but I always ended up getting it. Very small thing, but I thought I might as well point it out. Also, just want to point out the aesthetic of the map itself, very nice. It's just a mishmash of a ton of Dragon Ball locations poured into one, and it looks great. I also think it was a very cool choice getting all the Gods of Destructions as the tower bosses, although I'm sad because this probably means we're not going to get a playable Beerus. And as far as characters go, I've only played a little bit of Goku during the tutorial, and then a lot of Krillin and Zamasu afterwards. Hashtag certified Krillin main over here. But from what I played, they're very fun. Goku, damage dealer, you know, kind of like the generic DPS. He has a little bit of everything working for him. Krillin though, Krillin is goated. His light grenades can just mark enemies, he can just debuff everyone with his solar flare, use the tracking homing shot, and his ultimate, when leveled up to max, does so much damage. And as for Zamasu, the only reason I started playing him was because one of my friends said he was cracked, so after trying him out, yeah, I can definitely see why. He's pretty much just unkillable with his regen, lifesteal, and debuffs. He's most likely going to get nerfed in the future, so you might as well enjoy him while you can. Also, I'm just going to thing to random thing at this point, but what's the whole deal with like the upgrading system? If you go to the main menu, you can get experience for certain characters and level them up, but I don't really know what that does. I don't think it gives them a combat advantage, but it gives you capsules. So I don't know if it's just an easy way to get certain capsules or whatnot. But it looks like you could even upgrade helpers and emotes too. So like, I don't know what the deal is with that, but I just have no, bleh. Also, I find it a bit strange that I'm not allowed to purchase certain characters until I've spent enough in the shop. I don't really know what's going on with that, but whatever. But yeah, overall, even though it's just a beta, this has been a surprisingly fun experience. I mean, honestly, I can't stress enough how much the animation is carrying it, like, golly. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the beta ends from like a week or so from now, so if you want to try getting access to it, I'd highly recommend it, at least trying it a little bit. But yeah, that's about it. God, it feels weird making a video like this and like not being sponsored or anything, just doing it just cuz. Though I guess to be fair, it's not like I've ever been sponsored before, so if you're watching this Bandai, hook me up, I'm available. But yeah, if you've tried this out, let me know how it went for you. Let me know what character you main, hashtag Krillin Gang for life. And yeah, until next time, see ya!